but you do need to roll initiative.
Some of us already rolled initiative, Mark.
Wow.
I don't know if you remember, but
Oh yeah, I do remember.
rolled a natural one.
Could
So that's gonna be a solid 4 for me.
that is solid.
Not much better.
Jared, do you have paper that I could borrow? I also forgot my notebook.
Would you like a notebook?
I mean, a notebook would be great, but I guess I could just take the pages I use out of it.
No, they're mine now.
I do have paper. That's not too
You can have that entire notebook.
Oh wow, the graphics. Oh, they even put fake shadows on the field to make it look like they're real objects?
Bro, they're real. Those numbers are actually close. 21 to 24, it's so close.
Some good scribbles, yes. Excellent. Gray swirlies. Yeah. Thinking about cucumbers.
Let me put some snacks in it.
Alright.
You made it.
Oh, no, there's one. Let's try right here.
I'm going to put some snacks in there.
You start wherever you want to, Mark. You can have whatever you like.
Did anything else of note happen in the last session you all remember and want to share?
We murdered Ellis, and by we I mean Beep Boop accidentally murdered Ellis. The daughter of Eric Bastard. Timothy Brown did not learn to fly that day. Beep Boop. Oh no, Nibbles blew up everything. Xerox hasn't quite yet mastered her reincarnation spell.
Yeah.
Little light on Bellstone.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. We have 1,000 pounds of it, which is a lot. That's 100,000 gold worth of Bellstone.
Yeah.
I don't know what we need all of it for, but who knows?
Yeah.
Granny seemed insistent on getting a whole bunch.
All of the spell components. And let's see. Vesker Thompson is the person that's helping us out communicate with giants. And they saw something down in the hole that sucked the life out of them. And I think it's that gray thing that we're about to fight.
Yeah. Yeah, they said that there was, they found a strange, like, perfectly vertical hole descending to unknown depths within the earth. And they found within that, not only those strange things that were sucking the life out of the giants, but they saw, like, something clinging to the bottom of this strange bellstone crystal rock thing that's, like, just hanging at the top of this, like, tunnel, this shaft that goes to unknown depths, just hanging there as if just waiting to fall, but not. So, yeah. So, initiatives, you got a 5, was it, for Beepster?
4.
4.
6.
Nice.
Also, you told me that Mind Blank had been cast on me.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that's true.
And Greg gets a 16. I think I can see Gray's character sheet on here.
I can see it. I can see it. That's all I got.
That's enough.
Would you like me to have it pulled up?
I think I've got it here.
Okay.
But you having it as well certainly wouldn't hurt. Awesome. So, guys are, at this point you were traveling still down the like straight shaft of tunnel that the giants had carved. So it's about this wide. It's pretty light, but I don't think there's not too much in this tunnel that's going to be necessary to visualize either. It's like just a straight cut, like road down into the mines. Aside from a few times where it looks like you've passed by where like humans have gone in and like cut out other like veins or collections of bellstone that were accessible from this tunnel, but the main chunk of it, the main purpose of this is just going deeper in. And this, you guys can place yourselves wherever you wish. Just have the like between these two lines. And I wish I had like something else for these monsters. But we begin this round, fortunately for you, without you being surprised.
That's perfect. It looks very
This is gray. This is gray. As Gray saw this thing floating down from the ceiling, he sees it, calls out the alarm, but not before it falls on you, Beep Boop.
It falls on me?
Falls on you.
No, it doesn't.
I beg to differ.
I can think of some reasons why it might not.
Yeah, like what?
I don't know.
All right, it falls on you then. And is, let's see, so we can do... All right.
You have snacks in there.
As it falls, you see this like broadening, like looks like just like a cloak almost spreading out. But as you look at it in even this dim light, you can see that on the underside of it, there are mouths. You can see where there are tears or openings in the flesh, and they do indeed look more like tears than just like lips or intentional parting, as it opens up to reveal several large mouths with jagged teeth inside. And as they like open and moan silently, then close again, that mouth like seems to seal, and a new mouth opens up somewhere else on the underside of this creature. As it's floating down, it begins to glow. All this happens like a split second. As it's like falling down, it seems to like go blurry for a moment, and then like you can see it like fold up in itself instantly, and then expand out again. And now there are 3 of them, all of them falling on you. So you see, Xerox, 3 of these things land on Beep Boop from different sizes, and like he suddenly has 3 of these things on him. And you are going to receive a couple attacks here.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, let's see. One of these creatures, or one of this thing's mouths, bites at you, and you notice that you see and you feel not only the this like wrapping skin flesh of this thing engulfing you, but you can feel like writhing around. There's something like a tail also like tightening around you, and in this case also striking you. It's going to bite and get you with its tail. The bite is going to be a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. So that is 2d6. And it attaches to you with its mouth. And it's going to do 10 points of piercing damage to you. As it wraps around you, part of its flapping skin covering your head, you are blinded. Remind me, does Beep Boop need to breathe?
No.
Well, no change there. Its second attack, the one with its tail, is going to be 19 to hit.
Just
That
hits.
So that's going to be 7 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Okay.
Come at me, bro.
That's the end of its turn. Gray is up next. Do you guys? I think we'll just have Gray basically just shoot things.
Shoot at it.
Go. You guys can roll for it. So he gets a plus 14 to hit.
Okay. Roll, Jared, because
I think his
D&D
bow doesn't
Beyond
actually do
broke.
this damage. It's something different.
Plus 14, 31.
31 hits. I think he's like, against these things, he is like literally only going to miss on a natural 1.
And what's his...
His damage is actually 2d4 plus 9. Not this thing's 1d6 plus 9.
Ooh, nice rolls.
So 15 points. Gives him damage.
Nice. Actually, you also need to roll. Roll me a d6. Natural 1. Interesting. All right. So 15 damage as the arrow slams into the the thin flesh of this creature, and even pierces through it.
Ow.
You take 7 points of damage, and it takes 7 points of damage.
I don't like this. I shout out, "Ow, that was pointy."
The creature continues to wrap around you. I think he has another shot too. So yeah, just tell me if you get a natural 1. Otherwise, just roll the damage.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing's AC is 14, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's not good. That's not correct.
Oh, you do need to roll the d6 though as well for me.
There's a 2 and...
2? Damn.
2 and then 6 plus... It's a plus what?
Plus 9.
Okay, so another 15.
15. Nice. Again,
7.
7 points of damage.
Ow! Why are we shooting me?
Alright, that'll end Gray's turn, so we'll go to Xerox. You hear the muffled sounds of Beep Boop crying, or like making some noise as he is wrapped up by these 3 things as they continue to tighten, and you saw their mouths opening up. But those cries out of pain, or whatever muffled noise Beep Boop did make, did seem to coincide with those arrows hitting him.
Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to fly into a rage. As far as I remember, I was carrying a torch, and I would be carrying my shield, but I will forego using my shield, and I'm going to attempt to I'm gonna try to smack these things with, I'm gonna try to grapple one of these things.
Alright. So you're gonna try and grab one of them?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab one of them.
Right on. Yeah, so as you see all 3 of them wrapped around, it's like kind of hard to tell where one of these things ends and where the other one begins. So roll that d6 for me to determine which of these you target.
5.
5, alright.
And that's an opposed strength check.
Oh, wait a second. You have a torch, you said, and you're still carrying it?
I'm still carrying it.
You're not using your shield?
No.
Oh, That is indeed 20 feet of bright light.
Is it a
And
bad
what you
thing or
see
a good thing?
is as you march forward. I probably should have checked this before. Yeah. So as you bring the torch to bear to see where you need to strike this thing, You see as the bright light from the torch hits these monsters, 2 of them disappear. The one true one remains. Bright light having revealed the illusion.
Smart. Nice. Tight.
So you target the only one remaining with your grapple, so it's opposed athletics.
And I got a 28.
28? This thing cannot meet that, so you win.
Get it off me! Get it off me! Get it off me!
I'm gonna try to pull it off of Beep
Okay. So let's instead of a grapple, just make this a push attack, and you've already succeeded. So I think that's it's the same exact thing in opposed strength or athletics. So yeah, we'll call that a push attack. You just take the thing and just rip it off Beep Boop. I am gonna say Beep Boop that as Xerox rips this from you, the mouths still clamping down on your flesh are going to get in another 7 points of piercing damage.
Ow!
Or slashing. As you see, Xerox, you rip this thing off of Beep Boop, and you can see just a little bit of whatever your internal fluids look like, as some of his outer layer is just pulled out with the thing's mouth.
I will hit it with the torch.
I'll say it's prone right now as well, with your throwing it to the ground. You hit it with a torch? Okay. So that'll be
I have no idea.
yeah, well, it'll be a improvised weapon.
I don't have proficiency with it.
Oh, that was the other character. I was like, yes, you do. But we're not playing in Stradland anymore.
Oh, it does specifically say does 1 point of fire damage on a hit. I would, of course, allow you to add your strength to that, and I'll let you add a d6 to that.
Natural 20.
Nice. So it'll be 2d6 plus it'll be 6 plus 1d6 plus your strength plus 1 for the fire.
So 2 plus my strength plus 1 fire damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just that's 7 bludgeoning, 1.
Oh,
Did you double that?
with your crit it would be 6 plus that 2.
6 plus that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that ends up being 14.
14 points of damage, and nobody to share that damage with it. It's going to take the full 14.
Thank goodness.
All right. Nice.
I think that exhausts my turn.
All right. So this thing is prone at the feet of Xerox. We can give
Oh
it.
wait, I get to add 2 because I have brutal critical, and I
Oh,
have
yeah.
to add 2 d6 on top of that. So add 5 more points of damage.
10 more.
10 more points.
10 more points of damage? Hell yeah.
You gotta double them dice, bro.
Yeah.
Double down. Nice. Yeah, thing is looking wounded, but not bloody quite yet. Beep Boop, you're up.
Beep Boop's making faces at children.
Yeah, Beep Boop has lost his mind and sees children in the tunnel.
Everywhere. Where are they coming from? Can you, Beep Boop is going to use his. Let's see here, real quick. Do I remember how to play this game at all?
It's tough. There's a lot to know.
There's a lot to know. Okay, first thing Beep Boop is going to do is run up and take his large sword out of its sheath and slam it down upon the head of the creature that just pissed him off.
Nice.
As he sees that it's prone.
The silver greatsword?
Yes.
Excellent.
That's gonna be numbers to hit. 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh wait, did
you
I
have
say?
advantage because it's prone.
Did I say I was gonna cast my cantrip while I did this?
I don't think you did, but
Can
do
I
it.
do that to
Yeah.
do the booming blade thingy?
Yeah, well,
Thank you.
yeah, sure.
Thank you. Okay.
Boom that blade.
Boom that blade. So it's 2d6 plus.
I need to put all these dice in my mouth.
It's more fun that way. So 9
Lots of
plus. Yeah,
You
2d8.
can tap the big one, not the little ones. You can have the big one.
Do you want to see this one? It's also big.
Ooh, 9
different
plus
one.
6, which is math worked out to
Oh,
15 plus 7 is 23.
20?
No, 22. 22 points of damage. You need a new pencil here.
I have so many.
Okay. 22 points of damage as it shaved in silvery, bloomy. It's not. It's like wrapped in wool.
Mm-hmm.
Like just string wraps around it. Not enough to hinder it, but it just like wraps around, forming an outer layer upon it.
Uh-huh.
Ready to cause more ouchie should it deserve it.
It certainly does deserve it.
But it has to move in order to deserve that number of damage. And then I will toss my little fun yarn ball up in the air as my bird swings down and picks it up. And I'm going to end my turn there because I can't remember if it's a bonus action to make him do something or not.
Gotcha. All right.
Oh yeah, and I need your ruling on that eventually, on whether or not he's allowed to use it. I think that's the big thing. Is whether my homunculus servant is allowed to use the magical item in which I have created.
I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. You can do other magic things.
Yeah.
Eat that one.
And it's one of your artificer creations.
Because I can use a bonus action to make it use that item if you say it's okay. If and only if.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything on your items, unless there's anything in your items that say, like, this has to be a, non-construct creature.
It doesn't.
Yeah, I'd allow it.
Then it's going to cast a fun spell called Scorching Ray and level 3 rays at it.
Ooh.
But at disadvantage because it's prone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go see Mom.
Unless you're adjacent to it. But then adjacency has penalties for range anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say with disadvantage.
That's fine. 3 rays. The odds are ever in his favor. First one hits because I rolled a 15 and a 16.
Nice. Yeah, just looking for a 14 to 16.
Second one is 5. I just have to memorize. Second one's only a 10. So that one misses. And the second one's a natural 1. So one of them hits. We
Odds
tried.
were ever in your favor.
They weren't in my favor, but that's fine. I'm trying to make my turn not last for 5 hours, and we rolled 2d6 to do damage for the one that hit, and that's 9 points of fire damage. Bam, 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 bam. And that is my turn.
This thing is looking heavily wounded. Both of you give me a perception check.
I would gladly perceive something. I'm no longer blinded.
That's another natural 20.
I rolled a 13.
Xerox, through the just even through the blood pounding in your ears as your rage kind of just fills your vision, you hear, always listening, always aware, looking out for more threats. More of these things are flapping their way up the tunnel in your direction through the darkness. With a natural 20, sounds like 2 of them.
How far away are they?
Natural 20, you think they're going to be approaching pretty quickly, probably next round.
Okay, I will let my companions know. I'll shout out, like, there are more inbound.
Yeah.
And keep an eye out for more, but
yeah, you call out to your companions, and at the same time as you're still like towering over this monstrosity that you've thrown off your companion and bludgeoned with a torch, its tail whips up at you, and it's going to make an attack here. Give me a dexterity saving throw. 11. You like begin to like dodge out of the way or begin to deflect the blow as this thing's tail whips up in your direction, but you realize quickly it's not coming for you, it's coming for the torch that you're holding, and you pull it out of the way. It does not rip the torch out of your hand, at least with its tail. It begins to like flap its heavy leathery wings and body and lifting it itself up into the air and after you, and it's going to use its second attack as well to try and get your torch.
Ooh, don't let it get at your torch.
There we go.
No!
With this light attack, it's going to be a 25 to hit.
oh, that hits.
Excellent. So you will take just 10 points of piercing damage as this thing wraps around you, covering your head, blinding you, covering your mouth and nose, suffocating you, and has bound up your arm and the torch is just like singed against its body and has been put out.
Alright.
Gray's up.
Torch is out, I'm unarmed.
Gray's up?
Mm-hmm.
Gray is up.
Okay. Come here, Julian.
Brother Ronnie.
Julian,
What's up?
come here.
I would like to roll.
I would like to rage.
I would like to
That's what Gray says. Does Gray... Oh my gosh. How dare he? He said he was just going to hit stuff, but
Yeah.
I disagree
Fair enough.
after...
There's a lot of things he can do.
He's going to cast Fairy Fire
Ooh.
on... Oh, the thing moved! It takes an extra little bit of damage from me because it moved.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot about that. This is why cantrips that cause later damage are so bad.
They
3d8 damage.
Yeah, they're
Because I have to remember things. Like, if it moves, I kill it. 9 points of extra as the, like, the twine, the words I'm looking for are not there. Yarn, like, constricts really suddenly and shatters as it squeezes him very, very hard. And he takes that damage.
Okay. That is exactly as many hit points it has. And we will say that it dies as it lands on you, Xerox. I'm going to say the torch is still out.
That's fair.
But you can take the damage back.
Okay.
And you're not blinded or being suffocated anymore as you're able to just start pulling this weighted blanket off of you.
The weighted blanket. What's up, Uber? Let's go have some fun.
Yeah, alright.
Look at this. You wanna do it? You wanna go? Oh, no, you don't get to be scared of me now. We're buddies. Here we go. Ready?
Okay, bud. I'm right here.
You wanna do it?
Ooh. It's okay, Brian. It's okay.
We tried, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm gonna write by myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna write all by my lonesome.
Alright, so the thing is dead.
And there's stuff coming down the tunnel at us. Is it coming? Which direction are they coming from? From where we want to be,
Yeah,
or from behind us?
They're coming from down below in the direction you're traveling.
I will immediately grab another torch from my inventory and yell to Gray, quick, light it!
These things, so it did its turn, the other ones are approaching, you guys all have basically a round right now, so you'll have Gray do that. Does he have a little, fire cantrip?
He doesn't. His druidcraft.
Wanna do a little fire?
It will create a harmless, instantly light or snuff
Yeah.
out a candle or
Yeah.
torch.
He lights a torch with just a brief druidcraft, a little spark erupts off of it, and soon it's going again.
How
Or
wide
anyone.
is the hallway that we have in front of us?
35 feet.
35 feet is too far, Mark!
Giant hallway for giants.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's like too wide for them, or like two abreast.
Can I given the light of the, well, I have 60 feet dark vision, can I see these things?
I think that on this turn, see how fast they move. I think that on this turn, yeah, they're coming into vision towards the edge of your sight, coming into your 60 feet.
Okay, and is it my turn or is it?
Yeah, you guys both have a turn to take. I'll say that Gray's action was lighting the torch, because that is a cantrip. But you guys both have your actions and whatever else you want to take right now.
Okay, I will pull my javelin of lightning, and how far away are they?
You see 6 of these things flying up the tunnel towards you in the dim light, or in the dim vision of your dark vision. But they're, right now I'd say they're like 40 feet away from you.
Do I see any openings in the sides of the tunnel, anything like that?
Yeah, you see up ahead of you and behind you, there's, up ahead of you on the left, there's one of these, like, looks like carved out, like, veins of bellstone. And then behind you, you remember you passed one not long ago, like maybe like 15, 20 feet up behind you.
I think we should dive into our area that allows us to defend better, or retreat away from these things.
He poops those. That's one idea, and then reaches out his like thing and quickly starts going with his knitting needles, and then casts wall of fire down the hallway to take up the whole span of the hall.
Yeah.
Facing the damagey side, facing the burbs, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
As the brightness takes over.
Oh yeah. You can definitely catch, like, these 6 of these are definitely like flying close enough that you can catch them all in it at once.
Perfect.
They're pretty close, for like 10 foot like range between them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, roll your damage.
That's
Do they have a
Dex
save?
saving throw.
Dex saving throw to avoid it?
Or
Or take
take
half or
half.
anything? They got a 12 and a 11, so
That's not
or
gonna
9,
cut.
9.
1, 2, 3. How many gates do I have?
People coming in clutch here.
4. That's half of 8, so I'll take that.
Have to send some of my kids to camp.
6, 10, 11. Ooh, that's better. 12 is 23, 28, 36. Wait, why did I roll 8 instead of 5d8? Let's go back a little bit and say I rolled 4 the first time for 11?
Something like that. Sounds right.
11?
11 sounds right.
And then 8 for 17 points of
11
damage.
plus 8 is 19.
11 plus 8 is 19 because I know how to math.
Nice.
I learned in the grade that I learned it. To each creature that ends its turn within 10 feet of the side of the damage.
Yeah, all 6 of them do. And you, as the wall of flame just like occludes some of your vision just from like this burning flame that's just appearing out of nothing and just like a backdraft, just like blowing down the tunnel away from you. You can see immediately as that light fills the room, 4 of these things just vanish, and then the 2 remaining ones are engulfed in flame. Neither of them making their dex saving throw to reduce the damage. You can see them. How much was it total?
19.
19. That's right. You can see both of them just like wheel back these like enormous like shadows that you can see in the flames, wheeling back and turning around. As they do so, they both let out this keening wail out of the multiple mouths in their bodies, in their undersides. I need both of you to make DC or wisdom saving throws, please.
I'm good at these, and you're better at those because you had Mind Blank cast on you. Is that how that works? I forget how that spell works. I think you have advantage.
Mind Blank. Yeah, it's better be good because I rolled a 7.
I don't think it helps against fear.
I thought it had. Charm condition. Never mind, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 7.
7 fails. You feel a deep pang of fear run down your spine as this thing's wail has turned something primal inside your body that just like knows like this is danger, this is a predator, this is something I need to flee from. Something deep in like your reptile brain just knows that this is bad news. You are afraid of it.
I rolled 19.
You are unable to move towards it for now, is the main thing. And you got what?
19.
19. You succeed. Push past the terror that washes over you.
Well, that rules out moving to the tunnel ahead of us.
And you see as they bank around away from the flame. Is there anything else that you want to do on this turn?
I will hurl.
Oh, the javelin. That's right.
Javelin of lightning at one of them.
Yeah. Now there's only 2 to pick from, and they've both been burned. Looks like pretty.
Equally?
Yeah.
14 to hit.
Yeah, that just hits.
Woohoo! Lightning!
Alright,
Can't strike the same place twice.
okay, 1. They weren't flying in a line, were they?
No, unfortunately.
Probably.
I'll say they were like both banking around, like back away from you. If no, I would have let that. That would have been like a nat 20 sort of situation. I'll call it just one of them.
Alright, so 1 piercing and 10 lightning damage dealt to one of them.
Nice.
And I will immediately start looking to make my way to the tunnel behind us.
Okay.
Ray's gonna take a shot or 2.
Gray's turn was lighting
Oh,
a
yeah.
torch.
Okay.
Back to these monsters. As the flame continues to block your vision, the shadows they're casting disappear as they fly seemingly away from you. At least for now, out of sight. The flame still.
I reach back, grab Xerox, and slap her in the face a little bit and say, "Snap out of it! They're gone!"
Okay.
You take 1 damage halved to 0.
Yes.
I look at people. I don't know what came over me there.
It almost came over me too. I don't like loud
Sound
screeching
they
things.
made. Ugh. It's like a vacuum. Okay.
Nobody was gonna sound the sound.
So they've left. And
Yeah, I mean the wall of flame is preventing you from seeing like deeper into the tunnel. But as far as you can tell, they have fled from that fire and are not diving through it. A few rounds go past. Is it like a minute duration for that? Something like that. But
yeah, exactly. Concentration for a minute.
Xerox, you keep sharp your senses pointed in that down the tunnel, and as the flame continues to burn, there's no sound that you can hear above that or sight that you can glean that indicates they're coming back. But as long as the wall of fire is up, it's like I can see that far and not much farther.
Okay. Let's say I assume there's more down that way.
Probably a good assumption.
Shall we continue?
Well, we don't see the thingy yet, right? The hanging bellstone.
And we have one of the giants with us, right? He's not fighting.
Yeah, Jota is with you, I believe.
Is he scared?
He's like when that thing like showed up, like you look back at this point, he's like 20 feet back up the tunnel and just like kind of like looking down.
Joda, it's okay, we got it. Joda.
He's safe.
Safe?
Safe.
You speak impeccable common, my friend.
Let's say we proceed cautiously.
Everybody take a torch.
Yeah. Hand out a couple more torches. I think I'm down to 7 now.
To restock sometime. Who would have thought you'd actually use torches?
I mean, I have my own torch, thank you. I'll use one of my torches.
Do you guys still have that that floating stone?
Here's
Floating
the deal. Nibbles has the drift globe, but I've been playing, like, I was just thinking, man, I should give Beep Boop the drift globe.
Drift globe was
But
pretty cool.
he's got his own thing to story about.
It's true.
So, he's going to keep the drift globe.
Okay,
Beep Boop, if you really wanted to, could probably make a drift globe with a little bit of downtime. Maybe we just need to build a shop on the ship, a little workshop.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let me write something in my notes real quick.
Yeah, we can.
At 6:13, Evan said he would be here in 30 minutes, which is
Exactly
1 minute
30
from now.
minutes
Yeah,
ago, almost.
maybe he'll be here soon. So you guys quietly and carefully, I'm gathering,
Yes.
continue down the tunnel
Yes.
Yes.
With torches. Lit.
with torches.
Quietly lit. Quietly torch lit.
Torches are in stealth mode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stealth torch. We do that one thing like in what was that movie with Will Smith?
Independence Day.
Not iRobot. Dang it.
Oh, the one with the vampires?
Mm-hmm.
I
You like
Legend?
hide the thing and then you take it
Yeah,
out and you
the-
hide it
the
and you take
flashlight.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case they get cocky.
The torch.
Yeah.
This isn't working.
He's signaling something to us. I don't know.
This is a mining operation. I'm sure they had hooded lanterns, and I was like, nah, torches.
Go old school.
Yeah.
Awesome. Tunnel continues steadfastly downward and deeper into the earth. This mining operation, remember, is still some distance out from the Cragstone Mountains, but it is like definitely up in the rocky foothills of the mountain, and the mine itself started like in one of the larger of these hills. So it's kind of like you're definitely at this point though deeper than sea level, and only going deeper.
Deeper than sea level, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we feel the pressure building?
There is a little bit of just like this weightiness to the air. Seems like the stone giants have also like ensured that there's enough like ventilation and air circulation in this place that it's you're not worried of like coming into any like trapped pockets of gas or like weird things like that. So there's no like you still like the air doesn't smell or feel too like rank or like it's been like sitting down here unmoving for huge amounts of time. So the smell is not too bad, but as far as that goes, but you begin to smell something in the air, something biological, something like a fresh picked scab.
Go on.
Descriptions are just
They're getting real good.
real good, I will say. Yeah.
There is just that, just this like intuitive sort of feeling you're getting now that there's just something moist in this place down below, and just thinking about those monsters that you just fought, like the undersides of those things, like when it was like biting you with those like a mouth that just like opened up in its flesh against yours, like something revolting about those things. And one last thing before you guys were heading any deeper, I did got distracted, but I did want you guys to give me just a little perception check as you take one last look around.
Tiny perception.
Just a wee little perception.
21.
21.
Yeah, natural 20 for 21. I'm on edge.
Look who made it!
Hey! Lathander himself!
The morning
Lord.
glory.
Fritos, the cat drawing on it.
Oh, I still have those.
Yeah, I didn't touch them. What's up?
Let's see.
Yeah, likewise.
And,
Oh, man.
Anne, how are you?
Oh, good. Oh, so tired.
There is food over here.
Some delicious borscht.
Dude.
Unless it's on the official record.
Man, I can't believe that Xerox left her javelin and blanket the top of that.
Love that thing, but I guess she's over it.
She's over now. Whatever.
Zero of weapons.
Very particular. I can't possibly fight with this equipment.
That one piercing damage, though.
You don't want that.
Maybe I do.
Yeah, takes so little alcohol to get a baby drunk. It's such a tiny little creature.
Just
rub a little on their gun.
Yeah.
It's like testing out the drugs, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff, right?
Puts him right to sleep.
Doesn't it?
Evan,
Yes.
Gray, Xerox, Peepoo.
Hey.
You've slain this creature just before we jump back to, traveling down the tunnel farther.
Yes.
You've slain this creature and caused any others that were approaching you to flee. There's a moment, though, where you're kind of like just looking around, making sure Xerox is keeping a sharp ear towards the tunnel, listening to the fading sounds of these things retreating. Xerox, you see the creature that you killed And with the perception check you had, there's something like this creature, looking at it now with the light from the second torch, it's like the darkness of this place and the kind of the bloody smeared corpse of this thing reminds you of a recent memory of the smashed and destroyed body of the Necronomicon. Not that there's like writing on this thing, but it's just so skin-like. Like the Necronomicon was so weathered and leathery himself, and there's something about this creature that is like weathered, leathery skin. And the underside of it, I mean, you've seen, like, I mean, Xerox and Gray, you've both, you know, field-dressed animals and skinned them and stuff. Like, the underside of these things looks more like skin ripped from a body than, and while the top side of these creatures looks like heavily weathered, leathery skin. So it looks like these things just are just so skin-like in their appearance. It's just revolting.
The gray?
Not to Gray, particularly.
Does it look like a giant's body might have been used to create this creature?
Well, just judging from the like color and texture, like the giants that you've seen, like in Jota, just still hanging back 20 feet from you all, keeping a safe distance from any threats you face. They have kind of this like grayish, kind of like blue skin tone. It's kind of like cool, like earth, like rock color sort of thing. These things have kind of this like beige sort of like pale color on the underside of them. The top side is, I would say, not on initial, not on just like a first. Oh man, that is so distracting. Is not so similar to the giants that you draw an immediate connection there.
Okay. When they killed your friends, what happened to them? Did you see?
I saw bodies on my way up, and as I was fleeing.
And how many attacked you?
Several were trying to latch onto me as I fled. More were still consuming my companions.
Could Gray really examine one of these things using like nature or something to see if he recognizes these bat-like creatures in some way?
Go for it.
I guess that would be nature, yeah.
Yeah.
Natural 20 for 28.
Damn.
It's on fire.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Gray, the interesting thing is that even with an after 20, you don't recognize these things. But what you do recognize, or like what the connection you make in your mind is not to these specifically, but to another creature that's very similar, or like a pretty close approximation. Like you've heard of creatures often referred to as cloakers that are typically solitary, but sometimes gather in groups, but always typically in dark places, whether the darkest depths of tall forests or more likely in caves and crevasses and caverns and all sorts of underground places. But these are not those. For one, you can tell these are very different because they don't have a head. And that strange way that their mouths on the underside of their body, as you saw them like floating down towards you guys saw like a mouth like open up and you could see like fanged teeth inside, that would then like close, seal the flesh there, and like another mouth would open up somewhere else on the creature, and it would have like several mouths like opening and shutting on its underside all at the same time. There's something very much like cloakers already are not particularly like natural creatures, but these things are fucking not natural creatures. Like they are like beyond even like cloakers are already like aberrations. This thing is even farther out there.
It doesn't like remind us of ellipses or anything, does it?
No, like the you don't get a sense of the rot in this.
Not natural. Like kicks it.
Greg, give me an intelligence check. These are always good.
10 minus 2. No, it's a save. 10 minus 0. So
10.
No, minus 2.
Okay.
8.
8. All right.
That was a wild ride.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me for it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something, just like something in the back of your mind. Something about magic and papers. These creatures kind of look papery. Yeah. If it's important, you'll figure it out.
Not important.
He likes paper.
Not real paper.
It could be though. Sometimes they do make paper out of leather.
Yeah, sometimes they make books out of living people.
Uh-huh.
Gray nose.
Gray nose.
Do we think that one of these things could be used as a body for the
Necronomicon? It's too late. We fucked that up. There's no going back. Beep Boop doesn't care anymore. Good idea, but also no.
I mean, we could, how simple would it to be to roll this thing up and throw it in there?
For someone as strong as Xerox, you know, it might take a little squishing and squeezing out of whatever fluids are keeping this thing up, but you can do it. Probably.
And I'm just going to have a mangled corpse in my fucking backpack.
And this thing is big, too. Like, it's like, it would be like a large rug that you'd be rolling up, basically.
Yeah, I put it on my backpack like I would the sleep pack.
Uh-huh.
Just roll it up and
Excellent. It's like rolled up and it's like folded and like stowed there, and you've like got it. Well, give me a let's say a survival check.
Survival? Oh, I'm good at that. 22.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
You, as you're setting this up, you like foresee several ways you could mess this up and like just have this thing draining fluids into your bag and ruining things. You set it up so it's gonna be draining out the side. So like you've like arranged it and like so it's like squeezed. So you'll be leaving a little trail of like so like kind of like this like scabrous sort of fluid that's kind of draining off of these things and out of them. But yeah, your valuables and personal effects will be safe and kept clean.
Well, shall we continue down?
Yes.
Downhill?
Yeah, you guys continue traveling down. Gray Xerox passed a torch to you as well, I believe.
Makes sense.
So you're carrying 2 torches with you, keeping some bright light at least in the immediate area, not allowing these creatures to ambush you at least with duplicates of themselves. Keeping a close eye at the walls and the shadows of this fortunately like pretty cleanly cut and carved space. The giants have done like pretty like there aren't many like places for weird shadows to be cast and like places for these things to be hiding more effectively, except for where like more like veins of bellstone or other resources, other minerals or metals have been carved out. So those every once in a while you're passing by these like either very small or sometimes rather large, like 10 feet wide, like going into the off this main path into the earth, into the earth. Aside from those places, there aren't too many spots on the walls where these things could hide. But each time you come up to one of these places, you guys kind of take a wary approach, circling around it to make sure there's nothing about to ambush you. Given some time, you grow more and more confident these things have indeed fled from you. Some time passes. There's this long descending passage with so few variations and changes that it becomes difficult to keep track of not just how far you've gone, but like how long you've even just been down here. Everything just becoming more and more of the same. Beep Boop, however, with his keen mind, not suffering so many difficulties.
I'm gonna be like an alarm clock and just let everybody know 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes.
The time is now 11:45.
We've been down here for 30 minutes, everybody.
Let's say at this point, probably, a couple hours into this journey into the earth. With you guys taking that slower pace, especially after this fight.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you do see something new in this space. Somebody's having fun back there.
Yeah, it sounds so great.
That's the best sound in the entire world.
So happy I can't even laugh right. You see something new, and what you quickly pick out and believe to be the large corpses of giants.
Oh no.
The first one coming into view in the darkness beyond, or from beyond the edge of your torchlight and your respective dark visions. You see this unmoving figure, which quickly reveals itself to be, not humanoid, but giantoid. But all the, a head, your body, your brain's still looking for faces and eyes and hands and arms and humanoid features, so quickly resolves itself in your brain. The first one that you find, and you come up to it or are able to approach it, seeing
Very
that it
slowly making sure that it doesn't move.
It doesn't move, and it does not have anything covering, anything flapping or consuming it. You see that this one is shrunken, as if blood or moisture or life had been sucked from it.
Mummified or actually like physically shrunk down?
Shrunken, like it's like dehydrated, but not covered or anything. It is. You can see the skin, but the skin looks normal, if just very pale, and even a slightly darker shade of blue than you would normally find the giants. But it is lying there unmoving, just as you come upon it, and you just as you're coming close to it, you see another one farther and deeper in.
Let's continue the process, carefully making our way.
Do we see, are there any patches of skin missing?
Yeah, you can give me a medicine check if you want to examine their bodies.
Can I help him with that?
Mm-hmm.
Look for bugs.
Yeah, always.
15.
More. 18.
18. There are absolutely patches of skin missing.
Damn it.
Mouth-sized patches. You can see where these things have, on their underside of them, where mouths had opened up, bit into this thing, and just ripped away flesh. And you can see where it had been sucked clean of, like I said, any moisture it had in its body.
But it's not creating
But
new
you
skin
don't
things out of it.
see. Oh, I see what the question really was. You do not see, large, cloaker-sized patches of skin missing. No.
Okay. That's
and we'll pause a little bit to pay respect to Fallen.
Pretty impressive
That's that. And
Jota, as it seems you guys have made sure this area is safe, comes down and kneels beside this body and just like places a hand on each of the wounds that he has. Speaks in Giantish and then picks the body up and moves it to the side of the tunnel and says, and like places the arms across the chest and says to you, preparing to return to surface on the way back.
Is there anything we can do to respect them?
Just make sure I'm safe. I'll speak to them.
I can do that.
Now that there's nobody else in here, do we still need the Super Bowl wrap up on?
Especially now that it's over.
Oh my god, who won?
Go Chiefs.
Yay! Who did they beat?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles. We won, guys. We did it.
We did it! Wait,
Yeah,
I worked
did
really
it.
hard for this.
Yeah.
it's true. Me too. In the off season too.
Yeah, bro. I've been repping the Chiefs for minutes now.
so Jota is like going to carry
He's just for now. He's just like setting them and setting this first one at least in a respectful position out of the way in the tunnel, and it's just preparing for them to be taken back with you at some point. He isn't taking them right now. He's just preparing this body to be moved later.
Try to make as many scarves as I can to cover their eyes while we're passing by. I'm getting pretty good at scarves.
And this tunnel just seems like just continuing to go.
Yeah, it says it's like I said, like the giants have been cutting like a pretty like straight highway down deeper into the earth. Like they seem to have had an intention. Like I don't think Xerox knows enough about mining to know if this is like standard practice or if the giants are doing some weird giant mining or whatever. But yeah, they've just been building this like straight shot to allow like quick transportation deeper into the earth. So it's kind of like a pretty steady grade just going down in with just occasionally like cutting out, like I said, side tunnels and stuff when it happens to cross veins of something valuable.
Okay. I suppose we would just continue.
Mm-hmm.
How much further down until we get to the thing?
How far now? They didn't make it far.
I'm talking like an hour, 30 minutes. What do you think, bud?
Less than an hour, roughly minutes of walking.
Okay.
The smell is getting stronger. Can you smell?
Ray
I don't think we've determined whether or not I can smell. I think we asked this question a while ago, and I don't remember what the answer was. So, Mark?
Roll for it.
I think
Roll for
that's
smell.
it's really up to you. Like I think you have other senses. I haven't explained in your sense of like
Sight.
direction or like your inner ear or anything. Like,
I think I have a sense of
do you have a
what
tiny
makes
bone
up
in
the
your ear
world.
that lets you hear things?
Yes, Mark.
Um,
I do. I have no bones. Tiny little needle etching on vinyl.
smell of pick stab, stone, smell.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Gray actually seeing any bugs around, or is it like devoid of insects as well?
I think at this deep, the insects are becoming farther and farther and fewer in between. Give me a nature check or investigation check.
Let's go with the nature. It's 27.
7. What you have found, Gray, are not too many like little bugs or anything, but you found these. Like first you saw these like kind of like winding holes in the stone, like in the sides of the stone, the floor and the ceiling, and you realize that there's some sort of like bug that's been eating its way through the rock or something. And as you guys have been walking slowly, everybody's been stealthy and keeping a sharp ear out. You have been keeping your ears peeled for the sounds of tiny bugs or insects or something eating away at the rock. And your intent and focus pays off as you can hear just like the sounds of like a few rocks, like bits of loose earth falling and hitting the ground. You look over and you see the rock like kind of like breaking open, and the head of this like two-horned head of this like tiny like, or not tiny but rather large like centipede creature. Its head's probably like that wide in diameter, and you can see its like horns like poke out, and you can see like it crawls out, and like so many legs come out, and they're like sharp, pointy, like not even like legs, like they're like little claws, and it's just like clawing its way out of the stone.
Versus mine, and grabs at it.
Yeah. It Ray, it doesn't seem to see you coming, and you snap it up.
Right in the bug bag.
Yeah. Add this to my notes about insects Gray has collected. It's about a foot long.
Foot long, get your foot long.
I saw this post that Meatball Subs suggests that there's also a Meatball Dom.
That's hilarious.
So Greg catches bug and puts it back.
Yeah. So after Jota takes care of this corpse, you just continue moving down. Deeper into the tunnel, you quickly come across another 1, 2 bodies. Jota takes a few moments to say some words to them and move their bodies to the side. But your guys' attention, now that those dead giants are now common almost, you do notice some distance away from the giants, maybe 20, 30 feet farther down the tunnel, another body of one of these things, of these monsters. As you come up to it, looking at the thing, making sure it's not alive or moving or flapping anymore, it does seem indeed to be dead, partially ripped in half by the giants, presumably, that it was trying to consume. Lies there dead. As you look at it, give me a perception check.
15.
15.
14.
21.
Yeah, you guys are looking across this disgusting thing, the smell of it becoming stronger. Xerox.
My bird rolled a 30.
Bird rolled a 30?
Natural 20. Sorry.
Well, the bird isn't necessarily able to
He's not able to communicate with me at all. It's
yeah,
fine.
this detail also, because the thing that you notice, Xerox, is that what you had been kind of like afraid of and like looking at the previous giant's corpse for, you see some sign of here. This monstrous cloaker abomination thing, its skin and its flesh, you can clearly see that this thing has been like, you can see like the wrinkles and like patches of like hair on this thing that coincide with like a foot, like right in the middle of its flesh has been like pulled and ripped and or like pulled and stretched out, but you can still see like little like lines where like toe knuckles would be, and like little patches of like coarse hair under like coarse skin. This thing is indeed like ripped from or made from some humanoid-ish body.
Gross.
Yeah. See a little toenail. Well, rather large toenail. The toenail, probably about that big.
No.
Would you call it a giant-sized toenail?
I would describe it thusly.
Xerox fights the urge to vomit.
One of those was on your face earlier.
That dead foot. Not necessarily looking to add to her collection of.
You've got a lot of dead person on you in your bag right now.
Yeah. Seems like these are not born but made.
By what, though?
Exactly.
Was there anything in here making giant dead creatures last time you were here?
No.
And Craig kind of looked at it. And where?
And
We wear. Disguise. And drop. Eat umbrella. You know.
could you turn into one of these now?
Greg, I'm sure gets a sense it's not a beast. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, great. Like
Yeah.
definitely, you've
Not
definitely
beast.
understood this is like even cloakers are not something you could turn into, and those are like more natural than this thing.
Yeah, I think Gray's gonna, if he can, like quickly fashion a little shield around himself.
So
he'll still hold the torch, so there's like little arm holes.
so you're gonna cover yourself in one of these and
Yeah.
like wear as like a cloak or like a cape thing.
Yeah.
So these are really big. Like I
Well,
mean,
cut it down to size.
okay, yeah.
I'll see what he's trying to do
Uh-huh.
and be like, I feel like this is right up my wheelhouse.
Uh-huh.
And start to make a cloaker cloak
Absolutely.
with him,
Yeah.
for him.
Absolutely. It'll take a little time to make it not constantly like dripping on you.
Well, Gray's used to that.
Okay. So, yeah, awesome. The smell of the freshly picked scab and all the runny fluids and pus associated is so much stronger now. And Gray, you're covered with it, and you're like part of the disguise. They're never going to smell me coming. Yeah, take some time, tailor this to fit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just imagining like all three of you flying with one of these over you, like, oh, we're a cloaker. Flap the wings, Gray, flap the wings.
Cast levitate on it.
Yeah.
Keep him up in the air.
So good. Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely take some time and do that. The smell comes with you now, and at the least, you don't smell it getting worse as you go deeper into the tunnel after that. So you pass by a few more bodies of giants, each one looking exsanguinated, drained of blood and moisture, looking sunken down and like is so much smaller and more fragile than they look when they're living. You know that you are drawing closer to the source of this. Jota saying, not far now, just ahead. And you do begin to notice a new smell, as Gray has certainly washed that away with his pus cloak. There is a wash of warm air coming up the tunnel now. It's the air that's coming up feels pleasantly dry as compared to like one of the things, like I imagine like smelling that, like the pus and the stuff and the like the scabby smell in the air. You're just like anything like organically wet now is just like what you're looking out for, and just saying seems disgusting. The warm air that's coming through is like feels dry and like it's kind of like pleasant in that it's like it's not like hitting you with wetness that right now would be very unwelcome.
I look at Jota just kind of being like, is this
the hole? We're near the hole. The whole warm air came from it. You right, Joel?
The fart joke in there somewhere, I know.
I wasn't gonna be the one to make it though.
a rumbling
From underneath.
From deep below.
Deep within the bowels of the tunnel.
Constitution save. Extremely high, DC.
Very low. Beep-Boop is getting more and more excited to see this floating bellstone now, so he wants to hurry up and get ahead.
Yeah.
He has an idea.
Yeah, we press on.
Is Beep-Boop excited enough to pick up the pace, or are you still going?
I'm kind of picking up the pace a little bit.
Okay.
I think Gray's trying to take the lead with his disguise.
Genius.
He'll get us through.
Just a baby cloaker.
Xerox would stay within 15 feet, but behind them.
Right. I'm sure Gray still got his little torch, a little arm pole, just torch along.
I'm just imagining this just disgusting, dripping, like ghost figure.
Half yarn, half creature.
Leaving a little trail of wetness on the ground behind Gray.
Listen, I'm trained in leather worker school. This is a beautiful garment.
Why don't you guys give me one more perception check on the way down?
13. I kind of.
I think it was gonna land on something lower, so I think that actually made it better.
All right.
16. It was landing on a 7.
24.
Nice.
15 for my burb. And 15 for me. I'm just gonna keep rolling for my bird. If he sees anything that he would alert me to. Non-soundily, because he can't make words, but.
Yeah.
If he sees something dangerous, I want to know.
As everybody continues to like kind of rush forward, there's like, you know, Xerox. You watch as like Gray is like kind of like rushing ahead, like with his little cloak. Beep-Boop quickly behind. bringing up the rear and keeping a close eye out. And it's you who notices that after the others passed, you were hanging back just long enough that whatever was in this side passage, the side tunnel that you guys just have passed, whatever was in it thought that you guys had passed and it was time to spring its ambush. You know something is approaching. You guys are once again in a tunnel, and you just passed by. That's not going to work. You just passed by another passage, like out here. Sort this now. So Zero, if you're back there. Oh, this was you, Beepoop.
That's me.
So it's like Gray, Beepoop has passed this, and Zero, if you were hanging back just far enough to catch in the corner of your eye something moving deep in this tunnel. What you've also noticed, Zero, with your perception, there's another one over here.
An entranceway or like a creature?
Another side tunnel. So you guys have been going down the tunnel, and you've noticed like there have been other side tunnels like that have been cut out as this main tunnels intersect with like various like veins of ore or minerals and stuff that they've mined out. So out of one of these like mined out passages, Xerox has heard something here. And you guys are just about to approach or just about to pass by another one of these up ahead. Roll initiative.
Oh shit.
No! Shit.
18?
13.
11. No, 11.
Oh, good.
11 for Beepoop.
Yes.
Ray, what'd you get?
18.
18 for
Yeah.
Gray. Xerox, what'd you get?
13.
13.
I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, at least looking for an excuse to make it again.
Yeah, 9 pounds of beets.
Yeah, we ordered from Freddy's thing, so the recipe needs 9 beets,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh no.
so we put in 9 and we got 9 pounds.
Oh my god. Is this, everyone takes a beat home with you?
This guy is taking.
I'm taking a lot of beets.
Nice.
Some beets if you would like some beets.
Mom,
I'll take a beet or two.
Okay.
I don't even know where I'm living right now. So.
Much less where you're going to cook beets next. Fantastic. Gray, you hear this, starts as just like, you can hear like you first like feel like air pressure change and like you cock your head and you hear the sound of like these wings flapping through the air and also like hitting some wall and like bouncing off and like it seems to be like careening down this tunnel towards you. As you are now at the end of this tunnel, in casting light down it, you think that maybe it knows that you know, or, you know, something. So with initiative rolled, you know there's at least one creature heading your way from in here. It's probably at this point, as this like tunnel kind of like winds and isn't a straight shot like this one is. You know it's like, you can hear it coming from down there, but you can't quite see it yet. But your vision ends probably at about 30 feet away. And at the top of the round is Gray. So you hear Xerox. I think you said you were going to call
Yeah,
it?
call out, just ambush, or watch the tunnel.
Well, since Gray's gonna assume that it's coming from back there, I think he would run back to them over here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that he could see down the tunnel?
No, like I said, it kind of banks and it looks like it branches off. So you can also at this point hear this like flapping of this thing. They are not quiet flyers. They're very quiet droppers,
Gotcha.
but not quiet flyers. And it is flying as quickly as it can, it sounds like. So you know it's coming. Knowing it's coming fast, but you can't see it right now.
Great. He's gonna stand up here and like put his foot on her knee, be like, "Stay back." And then his little SIG suit, little umbrella suit, will be hanging out there with a bow drawn.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could prepare an action if you wanted to, or you
Yeah.
just want to be there.
Prepare an attack.
Okay. Fantastic. Next up is the monster, and your prepared attack goes off as you see it come around this corner. It's like flying quickly, slams into this wall, and like with a wet, sickening, just like sticks to it before it jumps off and starts like flapping down the tunnel towards you.
I'm gonna go and take the penalty as well. A natural 1, which I get to reroll. Oh. That's only a 13 to hit.
13 to hit?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's
What's
it.
your bonus?
That's because I took the penalty.
Right. Yeah, miss. It just glances off it, not doing any damage, and it hurls itself down the tunnel at you.
It doesn't recognize it? Recognize me as its own?
It sees you, well, may or may not see you, as it does not have a head, but it senses the bright light that you are emanating. It's like, probably not a friend.
Not work.
And it, just like the other one, is going to try and envelop you and envelop the torch as well. So it's going to make its attacks against you, Gray. Its bite and its tail attack. Ooh, both are 20 to hit.
No.
Okay. The bite, oh boy, is going to be 15 points of piercing damage. And the creature envelops you. The creature envelops you, and I just read another detail of these abilities, so it's slightly different than last time. But so it envelops you and is going to continue trying biting you, but right now its tail whips out, and that's not the right die. Is gonna. Oh, that was also a 14, so it hits. Its tail whips out and doesn't hit you, but hits the torch. Torches do not have a huge amount of armor class or hit points, so this creature is going to try and just destroy the torch, like knock it out of your hand or like slap it with its barbed tail. That hit only does 4 points of damage. Let me say that doesn't destroy it, but you think that the torch is damaged, and you can see like it's been splintered, and it could more readily be destroyed or knocked out of your hand or otherwise made unusable. Stay up.
I hate it when that happens.
You just can't get it to stay up.
Can't get it to stay up. Sometimes it happens, bro. No shame. It's just sometimes.
Yeah. So that's its 2 attacks. And that's that one's turn. At this point, you do hear this thing flies out to here, and it is going to right now just fly up to the ceiling and wait there. So it's like up on the ceiling right over here.
How high up?
The ceilings here are about 25 feet high.
Okay.
That's its turn. Xerox, you're up. Gray, you're on deck.
20 feet up. I don't know, I got 40 feet of movement. Do you think I can't do the Pythagorean theorem in my head?
E squared, B squared. So how far away are you?
25. I don't know. It might be a little rough trying to fly up there.
Yeah, I think it would be just out of your range. I think it would be like 50-ish, maybe. Not hypotenuse.
Seeing Ray being enveloped by this creature next to me, I would again try to do the pushing attack thing, but
Yeah.
grab it.
Just rip it off.
Yeah.
All right, opposed athletics. It's not the most athletic creature in the world. It's a 9.
17.
Yeah, again, rip it off, throw it onto the ground, just next to Gray.
And I would again I would pull my hammer and bring it down on it recklessly.
You don't even need to do it recklessly because it's on the ground.
You already have advantage.
Oh, that's right. So that'd be a 22 to hit.
Oh yeah. You can see that this one is already partially burned.
And sorry, just doing math in my head. 15 points. 15 bludgeoning.
Nice.
And I would use my crusher feet to move it 5 feet away.
Oh, nice. Just like slam it on the ground like so hard, just
Golf club.
croquet it.
Just croquet it. And I would use my bonus action to fly into a rage.
Nice. All right.
That will end my turn.
Beep boop. What you got?
First things first, I'm going to cast. I'm gonna like feel the thing hitting my heels, wheel around, and say, "Not today!" And I will cast Booming Blade upon my blade and swing at it
Boom that
with
blade.
advantage, because you know
It's on the ground.
it's on the ground. Well, one's a natural 1. The other one's an 8 plus numbers
Don't need a lot.
20
Plus 20.
plus 12.
That
So
hits.
it's 20.
You have a plus 12 to hit?
Yes, I do. That's
Holy
what happens when you
cow.
give me big weapons. Or big damage. Should
Oh, yeah,
think about
you're,
that before I get a
you're-
great silver sword.
Oh yeah, you unsheathed your great silver sword again?
Yes. Oh, damn it. No, Mark, stop rolling things. I don't want you to unroll things. Stop it. So he takes 10, 17 points of damage up front.
Nice.
And with my bonus action, I will have Bird once again cast Scorching Ray, but instead of at disadvantage, just attack the one that's flying ahead of me.
Oh, nice.
Up in the ceiling,
Yeah.
as Bird kind of
It's
hovers
prone
around
on the
my head.
ceiling, though.
Shut up! No! So one was a... Oh, I do need to check one
Yeah,
thing.
14's their AC that you're looking for.
One is definitely above a 14. One is a 12. And the other one is, one's 15, one's 7, the other one is 13. Boo, only one of those hit.
Mm-hmm.
Still only one hits. Come on, Bird.
Do
11
magic
points
better,
of fire
Bird.
damage to the one in front of me.
11.
You did.
Nice. It is looking heavily wounded.
The one in front of us?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. 11
That
on that one.
Yeah.
It is also already a little singed.
Wait, already?
Already. They were both this one and the one you just struck with your sword are a little burned.
Do we have a sense of why they might already be burned?
It looks like these might be the ones that you burned earlier.
Oh, yeah! We hit them already. They ran away.
Scaredy bats.
I see what you did there. And that will end my turn.
Okay, top of the next round, Gray. You are no longer being smothered by this thing.
Ray says, "I smother you," and as he goes to jump on this thing, he turns into an air elemental.
Oh, nice.
Smother it!
I
So
could drop
we-
the hero's elbow.
Yeah, I know fire form probably would have been like more effective, but air elemental just sounds really dumb, so I want to try this.
Yeah.
Gray, spinning gray.
Oh, cool.
Stands on this dude, and a slam melee attack. Which is a 24 to hit.
Oh, your torch goes out as it's absorbed into your body.
Oh, okay.
But Xerox still has a torch.
Okay.
So there's still light.
Yeah, so he will take. See, I should have got fire. It says 2d8.
Yeah, go fire just to be a torch or something.
14 bludgeoning damage.
Only because they
Nice.
flame on first. Flame on!
And I'm also going to whirlwind.
Ooh, so heavily wounded.
Each creature in the elemental space must make a DC 13 strength save on a failure.
It's a 16 natural.
So it survives. On a failure, I think that's it's saving the exception target takes half the bludgeoning damage and isn't flung away or knocked prone. So I'm going to 17 plus 8, 25.
Points of damage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, half that.
Half that, so 12.
Yeah.
You're like, it's already been wounded. You can see like it's already been singed as well. And what first detaches from the body is like the scarred flesh from where it was burned earlier. And as the wind just rips through this thing, you can see it just like rip off, and like this thing's like flapping in the wind that you're creating, and just begins to the wind just begins to rip it apart, and it dies. You can see like wind being like forced into its open mouths on its underside.
Does it inflate?
It does a little inflate.
It becomes building cloak. And he's, yes, he's gonna fly over here. So he's now flying in the air.
Oh, nice.
You see the little like umbrella coat just like spinning around inside the whirlwind.
Yeah.
It
Fantastic.
was nice of him to keep that on.
Yeah.
He thinks he's taunting him with his dead compatriot.
Yeah, this cloaker abomination flies into a rage, seeing its companion being used as a cloak or a disguise. It is going to detach itself from the ceiling, and as you're an air elemental, and that doesn't sound as tasty, so it's gonna fly down and try and envelop Deepu.
It's not going to.
And you're right here, 10, 20, just within bright light. Deepu, as this thing like detaches from the ceiling, you can see it just like detach 3 times, and you can see 3 of them now plummeting down on you from different directions. And as they hit the light, 2 of them just blink out as the last one remaining, still not an illusion, slams onto you and is going to make its bite and tail attacks. Bite's blue, tail's yellow. Unless your AC is lower than 11, neither of those are going to hit.
It's 9. It's 19.
This thing's
Plus
coming
1
down.
half plate. Woohoo!
Yeah, nice. It's coming down on you and descending like this flapping, cloaky body of just like this leathery, skinny scab flesh. Just being rocked in the wind of your companion Gray. And you deflect it, slicing through some of its flesh. It doesn't seem to be too bothered by it, but you are able to deflect it and keep it at bay. It does not attack you with land either attack on you.
So I'm not grappled or blinded.
We're not
or...
grappled, blinded, or suffocating, or any of those fun things.
Thank God.
Xerox, you're up.
Xerox will fly.
Wow, the DM screen is too big.
Don't worry. We won't cheat.
So this is roughly
Look at my cards.
even with V-Boop here, trying to envelop.
Yeah, it's like flapping around him, trying to get past his sword, deciding if it needs to retreat and find a new target at this point.
I will fly over the top and be on the other side, and I will attack it twice.
This thing right there.
Oh, it's being flanked.
Natural 20.
Say Nethrak. I know we don't have it anymore, but
So okay, so that's going to be 40 points.
40 points of damage.
don't forget your brutal criticals.
I added.
Oh, you did that.
Oh, good. Jeez, 40 points. That is putting this thing at death's door from being pretty healthy.
And then I will swing again. This time that's going to be a 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Less.
So 10 points of bludgeoning.
10 points is enough as you bring your hammer down again and again. This thing does not seem to have any discernible head, but you found enough bludgeoning damage across its body just does the same job, and you just obliterate it. It's just the smashing into its soft body and like bring up the hammer and just like spray of this thing's disgusting fluids comes up in the air, and you slam it down again, and it stops moving, most of it. Its tail's the last to stop its flailing. But both of them are not dead.
Xerox will step on top of it and just kind of twist her heel on it and just spit at it and then
Teabag it.
yeah.
Gray like playfully picks it up and flies it off somewhere. Just catches it and flings it off somewhere else.
It was the most beautiful thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Like spinning it around, like flinging it up like pizza dough.
If we use a rope, we tie it up, and then Gray just stands underneath it. We can kind of
Just hold on to its barbed tail.
This is for Steve.
Do we hear anything else coming down the tunnels or anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
18.
You don't hear any more of these things coming from these side tunnels. As everything quiets down again after this commotion, you're straining your ears against the quiet. You begin to hear occasional sound of one of these things like flapping its body against the rock, echoing down the tunnels from far below you, or far ahead. There are more of these things, but it sounds... Give me a nature check.
Everybody?
Or
just Gray?
Nobody who's really listening here.
8.
18.
Gray, the sound of these things like just reminds you of like roosting birds or like animals laying on the sun on the rocks. Like they don't sound like they're like moving their way towards you. They don't sound like they're threatening or under threat. There's just the occasional sound of like one of the things sounds like more like they're just getting comfortable and like flapping themselves against the rock. Like they're just like doing their thing. They don't seem to be terribly aware of you or like concerned about your approach or anything, but there definitely are more of these ahead. And the way it's echoing, it sounds like there are a good number of them up ahead. It's hard to tell how many, but at least a handful probably. You've heard, sounds like, it's hard to tell the way it's echoing down the various, like this long stone tunnel. But yeah, I would say that quite confident there's a decent number of them up ahead, but they seem to be at rest.
Can I look at one of these bodies and see if it might be sensitive to anything?
Sure. Yeah, like seeing if it's like vulnerable to any type of damage and yeah.
Start like putting frost cantrips on it, burning it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What elements do you want to take the time to try?
Fire, ice. Grab some arrows and stab it a few times. Piercing damage. We bludgeoned it a couple times. Anything else that I know that I can use easily?
I mean, you were sewing it. You probably know piercing already.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of those seem to be. It doesn't seem to be particularly resistant or vulnerable to any of those things. You've noticed, of course, that the light affects its illusion magic ability, but
Oh, Booming Blade does thunder damage.
no additional effect on
Alright,
that item.
fine. Alright, cool. What about those creatures that you mentioned, Gray? Oh, damn it, he's an air. I love Gray's elemental form, but sometimes it sucks not being able to talk to him. Jota, you don't happen to speak air.
No.
Shall we continue?
You know there's just going to be more down there. I really want to see this floating bellstone.
I do.
Let's go.
But should we be ready to retreat?
Yes.
Gray is never ready to retreat. Except when he totally is.
Forward. We should look out for tunnels. Sorry, I got a little excited.
You're down to one torch.
We'll go slower. I'll light a torch.
Okay. So Beep Boop and Xerox are carrying torches.
Really should have gone fire for him.
No, you're fine. I see if Gray can hold the torch by like putting it in the air and see what happens.
Inside an air elemental. Give me a dexterity check with disadvantage, Gray.
Okay. 23.
Wow. 23. The torch stays aloft for a little while. Like you can see, it's like being buffeted by the wind, but Gray's able to control much of the wind to like lift the haft of the torch and not the like lit part of it. This is going to require careful attention and concentration to keep this like afloat without putting it out or like flinging it against a wall. Yeah, but you can definitely focus on that and not, anything else if you want.
No, I think Gray's gonna drop it.
As it's falling, I cast Mage Hand to catch it and keep carrying it.
Oh, with Mage Hand. Love
Since I need two hands free so I can use my big sword, but I put my sword back in its sheath.
I've been doing you
I know.
The grace of assuming you've been putting it back
Perfect.
when you haven't been using it
I'm just
actively.
putting it back in there, not holding it aloft. Elihu wants me to keep it safe. Not Elihu. That's
Elamain.
wrong. Elamain. Ellis somebody.
No, Ellis is dead temporarily.
Ellis was dead temporarily, but now is alive. She's captaining the ship at the moment. Much to Gray's happiness.
You guys carefully continue down, remain unambushed for the time being, and the tunnel continues unwaveringly down and onward until you see where it ends. You see it in your dark vision before the torchlight reaches it, so it's still just at the edge of your sight in the darkness, where you see this tunnel begins to narrow, as if it hadn't been carved all the way out, and indeed, up ahead you see some mining implements scattered across the ground, enormous, equipped or the size for giants. Pickaxes and other strange exotic tools that they use.
I am a large elemental.
You could throw those around if you wanted.
Just try picking up an axe and having it spin around us.
Hit somebody.
No, it's not gonna miss that.
At this point in your vision, though, you can see where this tunnel, like, the giants broke into something else, another passage. So this tunnel continues down, begins to narrow right at the end where they hadn't finished, totally carving it out. And at the very end, there is like this cracked, broken section, certainly wide enough for any of you to go in like 2 by 2, and probably about 9-10 feet high. Certainly spacious enough for you guys to pass through, and certainly spacious enough for these monsters to come out should they wish. The sound is certainly coming from, it's certainly so many times in the last second, it's just realizing, but the sound is coming from the sound of these things flapping against the stone, these occasional like flaps of creatures just lazily getting more comfortable or something. It's coming from whatever chamber is at the other side of this entrance, or this exit, this passage. If what the giants said is true, this is a tunnel or a shaft that just plummets its way down beyond reckoning into the earth.
Do I see the floating bell still? Or do I have to go through?
You'd have to go through. What you understand is like this, like they broke into this shaft, and up above is where the stone is just resting against the ceiling of this tunnel, this hole, and then down below is an unknown depth.
How wide is the tunnel?
They estimated it, you can't really see into it at this point from this distance.
My head is poking through there as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, so I do just want to make sure everybody knows that, so you're not carrying a torch now, right?
My mage hand is. It's behind me.
You gonna carry it up there with you?
Yeah.
Okay. As you draw closer and the light begins to break into that tunnel, you hear a keening wail pick up from inside, similar to that horrible scream that you had heard earlier.
I saved from it once before. I can save from it again.
Yeah, and in fact, like this isn't the full like strength of this scream. This is just them becoming aware of light entering their domain.
Oh.
And waking up.
Oh shit.
Put it out.
Give me a stealth roll. It's disadvantage.
Six.
The keening wail grows louder and louder and louder. What do you do?
Can I see in there yet?
This is like when the light itself is just the dimmest amount of light is breaking in there. You would have to, at this point, continue forward towards the screaming wail to peek inside. I think you're at this point probably like 15 feet away from it. The torch a little bit farther behind you than that, floating with the mage hand.
I run.
Run up to the door?
Yeah.
Or the entrance? Do you leave the torch where it is, or do you bring it up with you?
I don't want there to be duplicates, so bring it up with me.
Okay. You rush towards
I'm
as...
harnessing my inner nibbles.
Nibbles programmed you for this.
As commotion erupts in this room, just as you hit the entrance to this other passage, you see indeed, like you take one quick glance down, see an unending darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Goes beyond reckoning. Up above, you see, first of all around you, there are like, maybe you see in this like quick moment, at least half a dozen of these things flapping against the walls and like preparing to like launch themselves off, and you can see that they're like contorting their bodies in the direction of you and where this light is coming, and even though they don't have heads, they seem to be able to perceive you and that light and are pointing themselves at you. And above all this, you see a strange floating stone that is, with the torchlight just barely reaching up to it and this dim light reaching it, it looks like just like polished glass. It looks a little bit different than normal bellstone in that like it's highly reflective on the outer layer, like it's been just like polished to like unimaginable like perfection, and it's like almost like this mirror finish on it that's reflecting much of the torchlight. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
I can't remember, does Bellstone glow?
No, not on
Okay.
its own. Yeah.
It's glowstone.
7.
7?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, it's with the reflection of the dim light the torch is providing, it's hard to get like any more detail than that, like highly reflective surface. It's different than most bellstone that you've seen in that reflectivity and that like polished appearance. But beyond that, you're not sure. It looks more or less spherical.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe almost like, maybe more like teardrop shaped. It's hard to tell what the top side of it looks like from down this at this point.
Can I get a sense of how wide this hole is that drops down?
Yeah, it is 25 feet across, and the stone is about 25 feet in diameter. It seems like just snug
it's
in this
huge.
space. Yeah.
So how much spacing between it and the walls?
I mean, you would see inches maybe.
Okay. Then I quickly back out real quick.
And you also see an enormous form hanging from it.
Oh no! It's getting big!
At the bottom of the stone, there is something dangling from it. You can see the occasional drip of fluid dripping off of this thing's, like what look like maybe were once legs but are now just like turning into like tentacles almost. You can see like what like the legs now are like almost like boneless, and they're like kind of like gliding and like waving in the as they dangle beneath the stone and beneath the massive weight of this creature. The creature is enormously powerful and strong. You can see that it is clinging to the stone by what looks to be like a gaping mouth or its head or something, but dangling beneath it like at least two long legs now, like almost fluid in their movement and boneless. There are patches of this thing that are not covered in skin, and those are wet, and you can see that moisture just collecting on its body and dripping down off these feet occasionally. And in the light you have, you can see this like pus, like this like yellowy, milky white like fluid draining off this thing's body. Where it is covered in skin, you can see the familiar kind of leathery appearance of these cloaker monsters. And you can see as the light hits one at the bottom, like hanging on its leg, it begins to like rip itself off the body of this thing that's hanging from the stone, and the cloaker goes ripping itself free until it begins to fall and glide down towards you. And more of them begin to become more and more active on the walls.
Is it like it's...
Brood mother.
Yeah, does it look like this creature is like human-esque, like giant, or is it some weird...
With your perception check, it's
Very
definitely
poor.
not human. It had legs and feet and toes at one point, but now they're like jellyfish tentacles, but they still have like some remnants of that form.
And I haven't heard of anything like...
By the gods, no, you have not.
Okay, great.
You've seen some shit.
I'm gonna pull back out of this crack and cast web across it real fast. to like make that and run back to my companions real fast.
Yeah. You cast web covering up the entrance or the passageway between this tunnel and this giant hole. And as you turn back to run back to your companions, and you guys are hearing, of course, the screaming, but also or the wailing, but also the sounds of these things as they flap their heavy wings and bodies against the air. They are not quiet as they move unless they're gliding. And as you're running up, you hear this like of them, like of at least one of these things slamming into the web behind you. But for the moment, it is holding.
There's a bunch of them, and they're coming off of something yucky. And that stone's real big, and I want it.
I want to put it in my pocket.
Get ready.
How much? So with the hole that we were looking out, like how much room is there between the hole and the bellstone?
Up?
No, it's directly above us. Okay.
It's like, wait, you said 20 feet up, and then unknown amount of distance down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris is gonna stand up front in this little elemental form and kind of like block the way until we figure out what we're doing.
There's some web there a little bit that will stop them from getting through, hopefully. And then I look at the Jux. Hope you're ready to beat some stuff up.
Always.
Are there any side tunnels near us?
Ooh, that's a smart idea.
At this close to the the front end of the progress the Giants have made, they hadn't cut any side tunnels out this deep. You notice the last one that you crossed was maybe 300, 400, 500 feet back.
Gotcha.
Do we know how fast giants can dig?
Pretty fucking fast. Like you guys, they started this tunnel like you guys were here, or at least some of you guys had been here in the tunnels just before the Giants basically started their work. And they're already digging so far down into the earth through this passage. They're highly efficient.
Jota, can you dig up?
Up?
Dig up, stupid.
Up. At least 20 feet that way.
I can, not directly up, no. We can dig a tunnel or a switchback or a spiral.
Good. Towards the middle. Let's see if we can get over the top of that thing.
Above the sacred stone.
Yes. Sacred to you? You didn't know it existed until...
They told you about it.
Yeah, but they saw it.
Yeah, and they believed that it was a holy stone.
Oh, yeah, above that one.
Yeah.
My notes are great, Mark.
None of that conversation did actually happen.
It did. Minus Mark.
Says they'll be through the web before
Divine
we're
rock.
above the stone.
Yeah, but we'll kill them all. As fast as you can.
Okay. And he starts. He picks up some of the tools. He has there are a couple of strange implements that they're using that don't really haven't really made sense until you see them in working in concert. And the immense strength that these stone giants have, plus this intuitive relationship they have with the rocks. You can see him look and analyze the rock for so much more time than he spends actually digging or cutting. And then when he digs or makes a strike against a stone with a pickaxe, he makes one or two, and within a few moments he's able to cut off immense chunks of rock, lay it against this sled thing and drag it out of this way and just continue working. He begins making quick progress. How long does that web last? And is there a DC that these things have to try and destroy it?
Web lasts for an hour, or was concentration for an hour. Conjure massive thick sticky webs. Each creature that starts its turn in the web or that enters it during its turn must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature is restrained as long as it remains in the web or until it breaks free. creature can make strength check against my spell CC to succeed. It no longer is restrained. Webs are flammable. Any 5-foot cube of web exposed to fire burns away in 1 round. Dealing 2d4 fire damage to any creature that starts its turn in the fire. So it doesn't have a you can break it DC unless you say it does, because you rule the world.
Yeah.
Who runs the world? Mark! Who runs the world?
Mark says the end is nigh. It's nigh.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely going to take them some time to either like work their way through the web or just break it enough, doing enough damage to be able to like open up a passage through it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have any flame to bring to bear on this, so like it's certainly keeping them busy.
Busy little beavers.
The challenge is this. It's hard, it's a couple minutes pass as Jota is working on digging.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming apparent that for Jota to dig a tunnel large enough for Jota to pass through, as well as all of you, that goes high enough to get you above that stone, is going to take some time. Like, they're fast, but like it's a big process. Jota stands at about I think about like 12, 13 feet tall, and says to you, if I don't make it large for me, I can lift you guys up to an entrance I make, or carve it very, very thin, and the strong one can break through.
I mean, that could work for me. But you don't want to be there,
2
right?
2 hours.
2 hours? I got 2 hours for you.
Okay. And it's a minute for the web?
An hour.
An hour for the web? Okay. These creatures are going to make a couple rolls against your spell DC.
My goal was to prep for them to come through, so if you have any ideas about ways to prep for when they make it through.
First one that comes down, Gray's running into it.
What's your spell DC?
18.
18. Are you guys just hanging out till something threatens you?
I wanted to talk about it. I just came here to talk. I wasn't anticipating.
All the so how big is this entrance that the web is blocking?
Like 10.
Yeah, it's like probably like 6-ish feet wide.
So Jota is carving out all this rock. It has to go somewhere there, so I assume there's a giant pile that's accumulating.
Yeah, he has like this, like one of the tools, like this pretty large, like folding, like sled thing that he's like laying large slabs of stone, like dragging it out of the way up the tunnel and like just placing it along the rock.
Can I be putting that in front of the 10-foot hole?
Just blocking it with stone?
Just blocking it with stone.
I think Jota could.
Jota probably could.
I think you might be able to. That's some heavy stone, though.
Gray's standing on the other side where they're building the stone thing, because he can move through, things that
Just
are
a crack.
So he's just hanging out there to try and prevent them from get through to you guys. Oh, we got a plan coming together.
Look at this!
Look at the A-team. Let's build a car with stuff on it.
What's your push-pull, Xerox? And what's your capacity? Because you have like the multiplier or whatever that's even wilder because you're a big old barbar.
Yeah, I'm a barb and
But in any case, definitely add that detail narratively if Xerox is strong enough to do this. Which I'm actually like very interested to know.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's under strength. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now.
Oh, here we go. Oh, strength saving throw. Strength roll.
I've looked it up before, and I feel like my
Lifting and carrying. Strength score. Carrying capacity. Push pull.
30 times your strength score for pushing, dragging, or lifting.
so 600 pounds.
And then you're also, don't you have a bonus to that too? For
I
being,
know. I only have advantage on checks to push, pull.
oh right, it's like it's Goliaths that get to be like a different. Yeah, they have like a.
I don't have any extra
That's right.
carrying capacity. I have.
Yeah, I'd say large chunks of stone. I think quickly go far beyond 600 pounds. But you're certainly able to assist and help Jota like get things in position. So you want to like just get the stones like pressed up like right against where the entrance is and just block the web entirely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, why don't you give me an athletics roll, and Jota's gonna take one as well with advantage.
16.
It's like a 19.
I'm gonna give you a pep talk and like slap your ass as you go. Come on, bud. You can do bigger than that. And I will add +5 to that to make it 21.
Awesome. That actually makes the difference between these stones being put in place before or after one or more of these creatures break through the web, and you need to either fight them or recast the web. And just as they're like, as you're pressing the second stone into place, this big slab of rock, and Jota's coming in to like place one above stack on top of those ones. Just as you're like sliding these last stones into place, you can see like one of these cloakers, like the underside of it, like a part of the like winged portion like stretches through the web, and like a mouth just grows on that portion. It's like flailing around trying to grab anything, and then just gets slammed and caught in the rocks, and just like you can hear that one of those moans cry out from it. But there is no way in hell these things can move these enormous stones. You have blocked the passage.
Nice.
Did Gray make it through in time?
Gray can go through any time he wants. Listen.
Yeah.
He's just back and forth for no reason.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out.
So now we have to wait 2 hours for Jota to.
Mm-hmm.
Short rest.
So you guys can take a short rest.
Yes. I need them hit points.
Do I regain normal hit points during the short rest, even if I'm in elemental form?
I would let you spend. I would like. How long is your?
5 hours?
That's 5 hours.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I would have no problem with letting you spend hit die to increase your gray form hit points.
Okay. Let's do a 12.
I took a short rest. I'm back at 129 hit points.
Nice.
I don't like dropping below 100. It makes me scared.
Yeah.
You never know who's
So
going to
just-
come and cast Disintegrate on you.
These things happen. I've heard stories.
I mean, Xerox got disintegrated once.
I like that Nibbles just shows up, cast Disintegrate
Or it
twice,
was
and leaves.
Finger of Death, I think it was.
Yeah, that shit sucked.
Yeah.
Since he's the only one that can resurrect people right now.
I can.
Oh, that's right.
I think that's why I don't have a heal spell right now, is because I took the resurrection spell.
I can either heal someone or resurrect them.
Might as well just resurrect them.
Just die, it'll be better.
Yeah.
We'll revivify you. There's bellstone everywhere.
I'll get you back with 1 HP. You'll be fine.
I'll turn you into a dwarf or something. Mine.
Yeah. That reminds me of one of the new rules that I'm really interested in checking out is like the updates to in like the 1D&D or whatever, are that I might like take into as house rules. I think there's some really cool updated rules on exhaustion. Because exhaustion in 5e is kind of lame, which like adds more levels of it. So it's like there are more stages for it. So it's like something I feel like the DM can actually like hand out more readily or like use more effectively. Because like once you hit 2 levels of exhaustion, it's just like, well, shit,
Right.
can't even move anymore. That and getting knocked down adds levels of exhaustion. Or like I think that's another house rule that I want to implement with exhaustion changes. So like if you get knocked down to 0 and you get healed up, you still like your body's still taking a toll from that. So you like gain a level of exhaustion. You'd have like 5 or 8 or something total levels of exhaustion before it got deadly.
No,
But yeah, just like
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I could see a lot of like, you could do that, but you'll take a point of exhaustion.
yeah, exactly. And it, like I think it would be cool for environmental effects and things like that and stuff as well.
Cool.
But anyway, so that's something that I'm thinking about.
Things to look forward to.
Yeah. But not right now. For now, you guys wait patiently in the torch-lit tunnel as you just kind of keep a loose guard on this stone-covered entrance, but Gray, you're able to like slip partially through and make sure like nothing weird is happening. You're like, no, like they're not. There's no way these things are gonna flap hard enough against these rocks to move them or anything. So you guys are pretty secure here, and Jota continues their work. And it is a few hours pass, and the Jota's been hard at work this time, and I imagine Xerox, you might be aiding them, helping them move things.
I want to help. I'm
You're
strong.
certainly able to as well. And with all of your hands aiding Jota, there's very quickly what looks to be like basically like a couple steps cut out that are going to be a challenge for you guys to climb. It's probably like 6-7 feet, so it's kind of like a lift up sort of situation to get to each next level. But you do that like twice, and then you're like within 10 feet of this like cutout that Jota has created. It's like this nice like ledge up in the rock up above, and he says that, like that is like I believe like directly behind the sacred stone up there, and he's like cut it thin enough, close enough to that tunnel that with some effort, Xerox could do it, or they could, or Jota could lift up and like knock that out for you. But it's definitely going to make some noise when you break in, with all the stone being shattered and falling.
And this is right towards the top of it?
He says that, like, as requested, this should be above the stone that's sitting at the top, or as far as you guys could see of that tunnel, or of that hole.
No time to die like the president.
So, do you guys want to just open it?
Open away.
Yeah. You've got web prepped, I assume.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's break through. Let's see.
Break free.
Gray's like wrapping rocks in zero elemental form and just like crashing them down on top of the ground, creating more rocks that he just continually picks up. It's like sandpaper after a while.
After a while, Gray's just covered in just sand.
He's weaponizing himself. He's like going to get in so many people's eyes now when he's air elemental.
sand
don't
blast
have
on my
heads.
shield.
Oh, they don't have heads or eyes. Ah.
I mean, getting sand in your mouth is not
Yeah, right
one of
between
the
your
experience.
fangs.
Mm-hmm. Do they have tongues?
Yeah, there's some tongues in there.
Break it.
Yeah. Seems to be the consensus. I can't find any reason not to break it open.
Other than destroying a sacred artifact, but
Other
yeah,
than-
these things happen.
We're not gonna break it.
All right.
No, look at it.
Let's break open the passage. See what there is to be seen.
Yeah.
How big was the drop from the bottom of this thing to the ground?
Unseeable.
We don't
From
know.
where?
Where the creatures latched onto. We don't know what's underneath that.
Yeah, so there's that big stone in the tunnel. That's like, so the access down below
Yeah.
showed this just big shaft, this hole in the ground going straight down. 25 feet up from that was the big rock and that creature hanging down from it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And you couldn't see any bottom to the
Okay.
thing.
I thought it was hanging on to the bellstone.
He is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that Bellstone rock,
Yeah.
and he's hanging onto it.
Okay.
And you guys are coming in expectedly from like above that rock somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Can I hear anything on the other side of the rock?
No, you can't hear anything.
It has a beating heart. It's alive. It's alive.
No, you can't hear anything. It seems quiet, and indeed, like as the light has been blocked and those stones put in place, the commotion coming from those creatures has diminished as well. Gray, you notice they've started to calm down again and are returning to just hanging out on their rocks and things.
Okay, I cast guidance on you and say, you can do it. Break it.
Alright. I'll try to break through.
Jota says, once each corner, once in the middle.
I'll follow his instruction.
Yeah. You take your hammer, slam it into each of the corners. You guys are kind of like sitting, like basically standing on this ledge, but you're really like beginning to open like a 3x6 like frame, and you slammed each of the corners and then the center of the thing, and the stone just like crumbles inward. Like the whole thing is like fractured and like must have had like these microfractures that you couldn't see, but as you strike it in the center now, the whole thing just like crumbles inwards, falling on down off into this open space. Some of the rocks falling down on this strange polished bellstone that's hanging here, and you notice now, seeing it from above, it is indeed just floating there, and there you can barely see around as you look down. Like around the edges of it has just enough space where those those stones, the rubble, some of it, smallest pieces, was able to fly down between the cracks. Up here, you can see also that the stone is indeed somewhat teardrop shaped and not perfectly spherical. While not coming to anything like a point up here, it is, comes to a narrower end and smoothly rounded off. You don't see any of these creatures up here. There's no movement, although as the sound of your guys' entrance has echoed into the tunnel, like they've definitely become a little more active, and you can hear them flapping around below as little bits of the sound is able to echo up around the stone and come up into this chamber.
How far are we away from this thing?
The stone itself,
Yeah.
probably like 5 feet above it right now.
Gotcha.
Should we extinguish the torches so as not to draw them up here?
You don't know that they could get up here.
Just because the space is not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
How tall, top to bottom, is this thing?
What
The Bellstone.
Yeah, this like teardrop bellstone, you'd probably say it's like maybe like 30 feet from the bottom of it to the top point. But like, yeah, it's like, kind of like shaped like that, and it's, probably 30 feet, probably like 25 feet in diameter, but 30 feet from top to bottom.
Gray's gonna start investigating the space in between, like
Yeah.
kind of spiraling around it, seeing if there's other cave entrances or anything.
Yeah, you spiral around this open space, and you can fly in this form as a air elemental, and you just like kind of without worrying about it, just step out or like float out into the open space. You suddenly like lurch up into the air as you're like pushing yourself against gravity. Suddenly you don't have to, and you push yourself up very quickly before you catch your movement again and gather yourself. You are, even if you weren't flying, you would be floating. But you can use your flying ability to, propel yourself around, but there is nothing pulling you down in this space.
Interesting.
As you enter, you can see that the stone just does kind of like gently move, gently bob, like a ship just moving slightly while it's at dock. Just moving with very gentle movements of the water.
Gray flies up to him and like picks up 2 rocks and like holds one and then drops one next to the other one and it falls to the ground. So he picks up another rock and puts it and he like catches it and says like
And he does all this as an elemental, so you just like see the rocks like floating up as he like lifts them. Yeah. Mostly invisible, as you're just mostly air.
It's floating. As we come out on top of it, can we tell what this rock is?
Yeah, there are a few things here. Beep Boop, I think that you've expressed some pretty significant interest in the stone itself. So, why don't you give me an Arcana or an investigation check, or you do Arcana, and if you're proficient in investigation, you can do your roll with advantage.
Oh, you better believe I'm proficient in investigation. So that's a 21.
21. Gray and Xerox, are you hopping in here as well?
Yeah.
Gray and Xerox kind of just taking a more general investigation of this space. Give me a perception or investigation check. 10.
23.
3. As Beep Boop's attention is on the rock and Beep Boop kind of like floats down, kind of like, it's in this like weightless environment, you realize you would, if you launch yourself away from a wall, you might just end up floating until you happen to get close enough to another wall to push yourself off again. And so Beep Boop, smart construct as you are, kind of like climb down closer to the Bellstone rock. And while he's doing that, the other two of you, especially you, Gray, being able to fly around this space, one of the things that you notice is that there are a number of what look to be like panels almost carved into the ceiling of this place, like on the edges, kind of like facing, kind of like angled kind of towards the center. There are like these panels that you realize are just like perfectly flat carved stone. And there are 4 of them. 4 of them in this chamber along the ceiling, kind of like facing towards the Bellstone.
We didn't cut into this when we smashed through, right?
No, yeah, these are higher than where you entered the space. Beep Boop. this bellstone is strange.
Mm.
It's like
It's more like strange stone.
it is like it's has enough similarities with bellstone that you're pretty sure it is, and like the giants know this sort of thing, and they've confirmed that it is some sort of holy like bellstone rock, they think. But it's like I said, like so finely polished that it looks like there's like an exterior, like almost like thick layer of glass almost that makes out the surface of this thing. But when you look into it, it looks like there are like crystalline facets inside, but more than it should have or make sense. It's like someone took like these like these like polyhedral like crystal things, or entire like enormous ones inside this stone, but like also like put them in there and also folded them to make them fit. Like just folded these things in on themselves, like three-dimensional objects just being like folded. So there's like more in this thing than should be able to be in it. You think more in this thing than makes sense for its volume to hold.
Mm.
There is, with that roll, extra dimensional space inside this stone. You fear to imagine even what would happen if this was broken open in your proximity, with all of this stuff packed in more tightly than it possibly can be,
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to suddenly get out
I see.
and expand like a pop balloon. But this thing is, whoever made this, as you're convinced this is no natural phenomenon, whoever made this had mastery over things you cannot even understand. Like the power required to like fold in material on itself without destroying it or anything, while like keeping everything like intact while like folding things in on their space, and like you struggle to even imagine like what sort of power would be required to do that.
Can I get the sense of whether something is causing it to float here, or it is just floating here?
It is just floating here. You don't know what's causing it to float or causing you to float here.
Okay. Is there any way inside of it?
It looks like that polished, perfect surface covers its entire form.
Can I cast Identify on it?
Sure. The rest of you begin to hear incantations happening below you as you're floating around, looking at these strangely, like perfectly, like seemingly like flattened panels of rock that are in the ceiling. Give me an investigation check for both of you.
Close.
17.
And you guys can do this with advantage, given some knowledge that you have.
Not one.
13.
17. Yeah, 17 is the highest.
13 total and a 17 total? Oh boy. Was Beep Boop, Gray, and Noose. Beep Boop, I mean, it was Nibble, I mean, Gray, you weren't there, but you heard about the dwarves when they were, dwarves that your friends met, talked about some stones that had words on them. They were like stone books, and then they, like, all the words were carved off of those stones, which was bad.
Or good.
There's something about these that I think Xerox, you would notice and you would remember this as well. You would have this feeling like these were obviously important. These 4 like panels. And there's like no, they're not doing anything. Like they're like you can't.
There's no writing on them.
Exactly. Like there's no apparent like magical rune engraving. There's no writing on it. But I think what you both notice is that the way the stone is set into the way it like meets with the rest of the rock around it, the flattened part versus like the more like carved but not as like polished or smooth areas, like where the panels meet the rest of its environment. They are like cut in such a way that like makes you think that these stones used to be thicker, used to protrude farther out, and like somebody just like came in and just cut stone away. You imagine that whatever was on these before has been removed, whether that be magical runes or just writing or whatever. There is something missing from these panels, certainly.
I bet Zero would have a super badass build for this.
And lastly, Gray, you notice with that roll, there are about halfway from the top of this chamber that you're in, just above the stone, to about like beginning about halfway down, like about halfway between the ceiling and where the like the bellstone polished stone thing is. You see that there are now, like about halfway there, there's carvings. Like there's carving in the wall, not just in one place, but all around the stone, like all around the entire chamber. Each one, like maybe like each carving begins maybe like a foot away from the next, and they're all like parallel lines going at an angle, like down and wrapping around each other, like just like curved, like not curved, but like a spiral going around, like down and around the tunnel.
Graham makes his way back up. Maybe like picks up rocks and arranges them to spin around his body in kind of a spiral pattern.
So there's a path.
No, they're like yeah, what you see, Gray, and what you're able to identify, I think these carvings are like maybe like inch and a half, just like this little like kind of like triangular like groove cut into the wall of this chamber, and each of these grooves, like it says, just like a spiral that goes, but they surround the thing, so there's just like all these spirals going. But it's not like a super sharp angle. It's kind of like just a maybe 30, 45 or something.
And that's all on the wall, not the
It's on the wall, yeah.
It's panels all the way down.
No panels. These grooves are different than the panels.
It's grooves all the way down.
Grooves all the way down. And I think yeah, you were doing some magic and you were doing some thinking.
Yeah, that was my thinking sound.
Xerox doesn't know what to do.
Graham's gonna
Don't
grab
hit anything
Xerox's
yet.
shield and try and like block, put it over one of these, one of the panels. If Xerox is fine with that. You just feel a tug off your shield.
Xerox would, knowing it's Gray, would let go of her shield.
Just kind of like move it up over, it spins in place over one of these panels to see if it does anything.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to.
Gray puts the shield back.
Getting more and more interested in these panels.
So do the grooves around, like, they go up and like terminate in where the panels are?
They don't even make it all that far high. They like um, stones here in the tunnel, and the grooves begin maybe like halfway between the stone and the ceiling of the chamber you're in. So they don't even go all the way up. They just begin at a uniform height and then go down from there. Just a little bit above where the stone is set. And Beep Boop, you're doing some more magic, I believe?
I was casting Identify on the stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Casting Identify on the stone. You are in a moment exposed to the enchantment of this thing.
Ooh, I've been enchanted by this thing for a while.
And by exposed to it, I mean like that moment where you're like, you know, you see the blue flash of the nuclear reactor, and you know you've been exposed to a huge amount of radiation. You're probably gonna die.
I'm flat.
In that similar sort of way, like in that there is an immense amount of power and magical enchantment in this thing.
Giant blue guy with a big old dangle that floats around everywhere.
It grows less and less interest in helping people.
I'm going to space.
But there's just this moment where it's just like, it's like this unimaginable power that's been so carefully and with such a delicate hand put together. There is an immense amount of magic on this thing, and your Identify spell like sees like conjuration, abjuration, like several other schools of magic, and then like divine magic and like this stuff. What the Identify spell really shows you amidst this storm of information is like a signature, like the signature on a painting or on a finely carved statue or artistic piece, the artist's or creator's mark.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not letters or anything so mundane, but amidst all of this like magical information about this thing that comes washing over you, there is a striking note of a hammer hitting an anvil, and you feel heat around you and purpose. You smell like the smell of like your heated lubricant elements in your body when you are hard at work, like your equivalent of sweat.
It's good that you added that word.
When you are hard. And you get there's just this like flash of knowing that accompanies these senses. This is a product of the Allfather, of Moradin.
Oh, fuck. Everybody writes feverishly. Why would he make it?
That's a great question.
But what's it supposed to do?
Apparently spin. Because that's a great idea.
I feel like that's
It's not spinning now though, right? It's just stationary.
Yeah.
We can get it to spin. That thing on the bottom might have a hard time holding on to it.
The Allfather is a dwarven god, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is my belt just having a crazy old time as it gets close by?
Yeah, there's
My waist
a
is just-
pull of the pelvis. And as you smell the lubricant.
I'm hard at work here.
Hearing Xerox talk about getting it to spin, Gray's gonna start circling it. He's got 90 feet of movement. He's just gonna keep spinning around as quickly as possible to see if he can get this thing moving.
Yeah.
Maybe trying to take effect of the swirly little engravings.
Yeah. Xerox, you are in the chamber as Gray starts in this air elemental form, starts like whipping through this chamber as fast as he can, faster and faster and faster. And the stone like has been just like floating there, like I said, just like gently kind of like rocking like a boat at a dock on a placid lake, just occasionally just like bump against the dock. It's like very just like gently like sitting there. And minutes pass, Gray moving, flying. And it does begin to just slowly rotate in place, occasionally bumping against. But this thing is so massive, like imparting velocity, like energy to it, enough to make it actually like move at a reasonable rate. You think you'll be at this for hours trying to get this thing to spin, but there's nothing preventing it from spinning. So every little bit of
Gray
every
starts
lap
dashing.
you do, yeah.
Just gonna keep at it for the next 3 hours.
So
It's gonna get very dizzy.
as it's moving, so it's polished. So can Xerox try to aid that,
Yeah, absolutely.
like
It's-
standing in the?
It's like this enormous rock and it's a smooth surface, but like yeah, you can definitely like. How do you want to like try and push it along?
She would brace herself in the passageway in which she came in and just kind of try to shove it
Uh-huh.
on at intervals to try to get it to speed up.
Yeah, it helps.
Beep boop is
But
getting
again, like,
very
as,
dizzy.
like, as you make contact with the thing and try and push it along, like you just like make contact with it and you can feel the immense mass of this thing and how much like inertia you'd have to like shift. It helps. But it's like instead of like 3.5 hours, it's like might be 2 hours 45 minutes now to get this thing, to get it up to like, I don't know how fast you guys are hoping for here, but like to get it going like a decent clip. But
Do we notice any changes in the environment?
with the tail end, with you like casting Identify and like taking this thing in as it begins to shift and move, the tail end of the spell, like the magic inside begins to change. But I don't think that spell really lasts a long time, so I think you might have
It's
to cast it again
instantaneous.
to catch on to what's changing in this.
Seeing as it's taken a while, can I ritually cast it?
Yeah, absolutely. That would make
Yeah.
even more sense. Yeah. Xerox, Gray, you begin shifting this thing. 10 minutes pass as Beep Boop is spinning around on the top of this thing now, preparing to cast the spell.
Guys, I'm starting to think I don't know about this idea.
Why don't the two of you give me a perception check, and you are getting some information for free with the activation of that spell.
My Constitution saving throw was 26.
21.
21.
And
19. Xerox, you're not quite sure all of what's changing in this thing, but there is some amount of change. Like, it's very faint because I mean this thing isn't even moving that fast. But after 10 minutes, you can see like it seems like the internal geometry is shifting a little bit, like the folded structures inside this thing are like bending out a little bit as they're being like maybe like pushed by like centripetal force towards the like outer edge of things. And this thing spins like the entire space inside seems to be like expanding a little bit with the spin of this thing. Beep boop. As your spell goes off, you swallow the last bit of vomit that came up of, I don't know,
Silvery
gears
goo.
that you eat.
It's all silvery goo.
You feel some of the magic, some of what's bound up inside this stone pressing more against its walls.
Oh.
Like what has been so carefully folded inside is wanting to expand out. And with that spinning, that little bit of centripetal force inside this thing, whatever physics dominate this strange extra-dimensional space, like seems to be like pushing at the walls of this thing, like pushing to break out of it, pushing to expand out. And there is in that, I think, with that spell, give me an Arcana check, and you can do it again with advantage with your investigation.
Beep, beep, beep.
Nice.
Oh, damn!
30.
All right, I'll go farther than I wanted to here.
Tell me everything.
The immense geometry that's been folded up inside this, that's wanting to expand out, is so much bigger than this stone. But as this magic, as the identify spell hits, and you just like dive into that, trying to understand it so as deeply as you can, what is in here trying to expand out, if it breaks the confines of this stone, will expand to a size far larger than the world you are on. But it's just a piece of something bigger.
Oh no. It's all of the knowledge that they hid away, isn't it?
They just folded that knowledge up
They
in nice
folded it all.
geometrical
Yeah,
shapes
and just put it right in, didn't they?
throw it all in the bellstone.
Yeah.
Just gotta spin it.
Mm-hmm. Do I get a sense that if we get spinning too fast, we might accidentally crack this thing open?
Like, you also feel like the magic binding this thing is so fucking powerful that, like, you don't know how fast you would need to spin this to actually, like, strain this against its binding, its magical binding, but you're not anywhere close.
Oh, that's a small space. I'm gonna... Remember when Neo was, like, on the pole, like, running around with, like, all the little agents around him, and you're just spinning in circles, kicking them all like that? I'm gonna put my hands on the stone and just start running around the outside to help spin it faster. Like, let's do this thing.
Absolutely. And we end our session tonight
Yeah.
with the party spinning the stone for as long as they wish to.
Is this pissing off the creature down below? Is he getting just as dizzy as us?
That's actually probably the most
Yeah,
significant
that's
part
what
of
I'm
this.
really curious
Yeah.
Our plan is to make them fly off.
Yeah. I would say that as this thing begins to speed up,
Damn it, I really wanted to finish that.
this yeah, you don't know. It's all the way down on the other side of this immense stone. You hear more and more of these cloaker abominations flapping around down there, and occasionally wailing their horrific wail. But you're not sure. There's no sound of this thing being flung off yet.
Alright. It's fair. Did you take your paper?
I did. Thank you.
If I hit a creature, or if I'm in a creature, and they fail their save, they get launched 20 feet in like a random direction.
As an air elemental?
Yeah, so if Bray has the ability to, he wants to slip down and try and grab one and flip it around and whatever. Knock into other ones and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, is there any way? Do I feel like I could get inside of it?
Of the creature?
No, inside the
Stone?
ball of stone.
Yeah, I think you asked if there was like an entrance.
Oh yeah, you said it was too.
Yeah, it's just like perfectly polished all the way around it.
Dang it. One inside. Can I just cast
Let me in!
meld with stone and be inside of it?
Let's certainly try.
Oh man, should with the stone element.
Yeah. Beats.